I have one too.
I've noticed before I had the walking desk that after I ate, which is an hour ago, I get super tired. So every time after I eat, I start walking, and it helps.
Oh, no,
Look at Angela.
Dan,
I think you need to do it.
Oh shit! Really?
Angela,
but then I
you
can't. But then I can't have like the bar behind me. Now, then I'll have to get a background more like what Michael's got, which I could do. I do have a wall back there. Here now we're back to even because now Sean's here.
It's tiny. Your background still works. You'd be surprised how little it is.
No, because like look, if I literally like tip this thing to the side a little bit, my background doesn't even work anymore. You know,
I should.
Yeah, we got to get you set up.
Like, see, it's like.
Yeah.
I mean, because my background is right behind me.
Yeah, but yours is a real background, not a digital background with a green screen.
Well, it's basically this is like your green screen. It's just fabric.
Yeah, I would just need to get a bigger piece of fabric, is what I would need to get. Bigger piece
and
of fabric.
put the background on it.
You're getting way scientific on me here.
Yeah. This is intense stuff, folks. I got to get us live on the thing. Angela, it's really good to have you back. We missed you. We missed you a bunch.
Go get yourself public.
Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm on it right now. I'm making us public.
While you're doing it, I'm gonna roll the intro.
Hit it. Welcome to Home Service Happy Hour, brought to you by Service Monster. All right, now we're officially public. Happy Wednesday, everybody. It's happy hour. The happiest of hours. I'm back to my classic whiskey Coke. Actually, no, it's not classic because this one's a diet one. Ben left me a diet Coke, so that's what's in my whiskey today. Angela, welcome back to your favorite part of the week.
It is my favorite part of the week. I'm happy to do that.
What could be more fun? Where were you? What were you doing? You were just doing stuff, and then you were posting cool-ass pictures with statue-y looking things.
Well, JC posts cool-ass pictures, let's be honest. He's the one that posts. But yes, we were back in Omaha. So 2 weeks ago, I was back in Omaha, got to see the kids.
I assumed you were bow hunting or something. You know, why else would you go to Nebraska in late October?
I know, we should have been. But no, we weren't hunting. I helped out at a retreat of great family friends, so that was great to just get to be out in nature and with some great people. And then last week we were speaking at RIFCon.
Oh yeah,
in Orlando.
How was that?
It was good. It was good. We had a great we spoke at a breakout session, JC and I together, and it was really good. We had a great response to it, and it was good industry event.
How I've never been to RoofCon. Is it huge? Is it small? Is it somewhere in between?
Somewhere in between. They told us 4,000 people. I'm not sure if that's how many were there, but it's a big size.
Yeah,
big size, major vendors.
Nice.
So
I had as it was about to happen, I had 3 people that were like, "Hey, are you going to RoofCon?" And I was like, "No, I didn't even know. I don't even know what it is. Is it a thing? Is it a thing I'm supposed to be at?" Maybe next year. Although I hate, it's October. Don't they know that it's bow hunting season? Why would anybody host a convention in bow hunting season? That's like people.
I would just like to state for the record really quick, Dan. I just like to state really quick. It's okay to go on a trip and not kill things. I've done it several times.
I've done it.
A lot of people do it.
I've done it too. Where
in fact, every trip I take, I don't kill things.
It's happened to me too, where I miss. Sometimes I go on a trip and I miss, or the opportunity just doesn't present itself. But then I'm eating tag soup. So I understand that sometimes it doesn't work out.
Hey, Angela, was there a lot of talk about hurricane stuff with the roofing industry?
No, I mean, I guess I didn't go to the stuff that was like that. I saw our typical people, but we made some I thought it was great for great connections. This is why I thought it was great. We strategically did it really well. Flew out Wednesday night, spoke Thursday morning. We ended up ducking out and using a day pass we had left and went and did round the world at Epcot.
Oh, yeah.
In the afternoon. Drew happened to be there. So we connected with somebody at Epcot, drank and ate ourselves around the world, and we're on the first flight out Friday
Drew
morning.
Larison was just like at Epcot when you were there.
Yeah.
This is the thing that you guys have, because this is the same thing that happened when we saw you guys on the tram over by Magic Kingdom. Was just like, oh hey. Although we did know that you were there and that we were there. We just didn't know how to coordinate.
Yeah, we didn't know he was going to be there. JC just randomly posted update on Facebook. He's like, speaking, and he goes, "Peace out. We're going to go do some Disney shit." And Drew texts us and is like, "We're at Epcot." And as you know, you can't just pop into a park without a plan because you don't have your day scheduled on the app. So there's no rides that you can ride.
Yeah,
if
you got to know.
Decide at 2:00 in the afternoon to go to a park, you can't ride any rides. So
you got to know your shit.
We were just adults drinking ourselves around the world at Epcot. It's kind of fun.
Be crazy not to. Be crazy not to. Oh, we got Michael and Angela just strutting it, literally strutting their stuff on today's episode. If you're catching the podcast, maybe you hear some treadmills walking in the background. I'm a little jealous. I have literally, I had one, and then my wife took it and moved it to her office, but now it's like collecting dust somewhere. And I think especially during the winter when vitamin D is at a deficient level, I think walking on the treadmill, and I'm just at this computer all day. I think that's a necessity. And I do. Today's episode is all about wellness related stuff. Maybe we'll get into some physical wellness related stuff. But the last few episodes we've talked in depth, and Angela, you feel free to chime in since you missed a couple here. It's been in depth about the fall burnout, employee engagement stuff. Last week, Michael and I nerded out on some tax related things, but I want to get back to some of this fall burnout stuff. I mean, there's like a month left, right? For a lot of us in the home service space. Thanksgiving winding up November is kind of where things start to dwindle a little bit. If we get some work in December, that's cool. Granted, I don't know if it's been as warm everywhere else as it has in the Midwest, but yesterday it was 75 or something up here. Tomorrow will be normal. For trick-or-treating, it's going to be 40 out. So we'll be back to normal, bundling up. We'll be thinking about you, Sean. You're like our trick-or-treating buddy out here.
That's right.
But
Crazy Uncle
Sean. JC says Michael and Angela competing for a marathon. If they were competing, I would hope they would be going faster than that. They both kind of look like they're lollygagging to me. What speed? Hold on. What speed are you going, Michael?
1.
Does it have a mile? 2.5 miles per hour.
1.5.
1.5.
Angela's going a little faster, I think.
1.9
You're on mute, Angela.
1.8.
You're on mute, Angela. I don't know how you got on mute, but you're on mute. Somebody muted you. Could have been Angela. You're still on mute. Yeah, you gotta unmute to
I didn't
not
want to hear my
muted.
treadmill. I looked and then it was 9. I think it's 1.8.
Ooh, she's got you by a hair.
Yeah. JC says it's the shorter legs. It is. Angela's got a beat.
Wait. Well, yeah, my legs are definitely shorter than Angela's.
Mm-hmm.
I have like
guys all torso.
Yeah.
All torso. But we've been talking a lot about fall burnout. I think you got a couple strategies right here. Get yourself a walking treadmill, stay fit. But one of the things we talked a lot about fall burnout. We talked about employee engagement and how recruiting in the fall is tough. Like, it can be done. We got Sean on here. He told us some ways to do it. Some of it's building hopper. Some of it's just finding the right way to recruit the right type of people late in the season. But what we glanced across the impact that your fall push and your fall burnout as a business owner has at the home front, which is like, yeah, your employees feel your stress, which causes them to not be happy, which causes them to leave early, which makes you more stressed. I can't imagine what my wife was feeling like when I was going through fall burnout phases. Like, that's probably the hardest toll because they're picking up all of your slack and you don't see it because you're so consumed with your own shit, right? You're out there busting your butt, working hard, working 80 hours a week, right? It's the fall. We got to make as much money as we can. And so I think it's important. We talked about the employee side of it and how it's important to like insulate them from that and keep them happy and do cool things for them. Because if you lose them at that time of year, like, that is the thing that caps your revenue. But and I'm not even going to sugarcoat this. I know so many people. Lou said, "Are they on treadmills?" Indeed, they are, Lou. Indeed, they are. Yes, absolutely.
They're walking over poles.
And I think that would go good with a whiskey and Coke. Like, you're kind of doing all the things at once. Angela's got a beer over there. It's like she's burning it as fast as she's consuming it. But again, I don't want to sugarcoat this. I know so many small business owners that have gotten divorced because of the fall burnout. Like, it is super real. It takes such a toll on you as an individual running that business, and it's a grind. And whenever we are stressed out, we negatively impact our relationships. Like, I don't, if any of you have an example of a time you were stressed out and you thought you positively impacted your relationship, I'd love to hear some examples. But just in general, when we're stressed, we're anxious, we're aggressive, right? We're more likely to get to yell, to get fed up with something, and your spouse and your kids take the brunt of that, right? They have nothing to do with it in a lot of cases, but they take the brunt of it. Your family's always who you spend the most time bitching to or bitching at. And so I'm curious if we'll do some like storytelling today. If you guys have specific examples that come to mind about just times where like your marriage was tough or parenting was tough because you were just so deep in it and you couldn't be there to be, I'll say, to be the mom or dad or spouse or whatever it is that you wanted to be. But damn, it feels real. And I hope it feels real to you guys, because we're like in the middle of it. It's October 30th as we're recording this. Curious. Hey, wait, hold on. On the show today, I'm so bad at this. And then I should probably give a shout out to Service Monster, our sponsor. We got Angela Schroeder from Unique Genius Virtual Assistants. We got Michael Gregory from Click Call Cell. We got Sean Day from Higher Lead Chill. We got producer guy Jai Fernando hanging out in the Philippines early morning. And yours truly. I thought we agreed we weren't actually going to do sound effects. We were just going to do them all vocally. Dan Plata, best damn bookkeeping. What's up? Shout out Service Monster sponsor. Jai, remind me tomorrow morning, I guess tomorrow night or tonight, my tomorrow morning, I got to record a commercial for Service Monster that we can run at the beginning of the show. I'll do it as part of like the show intro.
And for the
we didn't play any intro music.
We did a little bit. It was just real quiet. Do you want to play it again? Do you want Jai to play it again for you so you can dance?
No, that's okay. I'll dance at the end.
You were having technical difficulties, Angela. We're good.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna save it. So fall burnout. No surprise here. That was a lot of me rambling. Let's go. We're just gonna like take this poker style. Angela first. Michael. This is just because this is the way it is on my screen, left to right, top to bottom. Angela, Michael, Sean, in that order. Give me some preliminary thoughts, and then we'll get into like some stories and some advice we can give the folks about this fall burnout and the impact on the home front.
State the question for the listeners one more time.
It's not a question right now. It's an observation right now. And I'm curious your thoughts on the observation of just how you've seen this fall burnout, how it's impacted you. Michael, obviously you're a coach too. So how it's impacted business owners that you watch, their marriage, their ability to be a parent, your ability to be a spouse and a parent and all that stuff. Initial thoughts before questions. Angela, go.
So I've been on the other side of it. I feel like I have a unique perspective after last year's holiday season. So I've always been the business owner, most of the time as a single mom, but like impacting my kids. And during busy seasons, we're different in different businesses, but like what systems could I put in place? I guess that's how I dealt with it. Like how much help could I hire? Systems in place so my kids didn't feel neglected. Like I knew my energy was going to be depleted. So how could I make sure that they felt loved on and cared for by somebody?
Somebody love my children, please.
But it was a real thing. If you put things in place, like kids don't know unless their life and energy felt disrupted. So that's how I dealt with it before, is just knowing I was going to be depleted. How could I put other systems in place at home so everyone was taken care of and didn't feel my absence?
Yeah. What was it like being on the other side of it?
Last year was the first time I went through a holiday light season. So I went through this season on the opposite side, being the partner of a business owner in this season. Hopefully JC is still watching. But while owning a business, and, having kids at home, having the kids here and him being off running the business, and in the middle of it, it just was weird seeing the other side because I knew what it was like. I think it's different than being a spouse or a partner and not knowing what it is. You know what I mean? Like I saw myself in it, like knowing like you did not have any capacity to be here or function or to be any part of it. And I just have to figure it out. Like knowing there's no fault, I guess.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Do you, and I don't know that for somebody like my wife is in the corporate world and she has her ups and downs of busyness. Mine are just more extreme because it's mine, right? And small. And so like, there's no backup. And so do you feel like you were able to handle it better because you had more awareness of like what JC was doing versus like if you just felt like it was happening to you?
Yeah. Because I wanted him to be all in, right? Like I knew that, and I was all in too, like how can I support you? How can I do stuff for the team? How can I take off the load and be in it? But it was strange being on the other side of like, wow, this takes everything out of us and takes all of it in. And I guess it was strange because it was my first season, so I didn't know how to plan. I'm a planner. Like, let's plan and put systems in place so all of this energy works.
Yeah. Did you find yourself getting frustrated by it or feeling like guilty, like you couldn't help enough, or what were you feeling as like, and I'm sure you had multiple days and different feelings, but what was like the gist of it? Did you feel like helpless, like you couldn't help enough, or did you feel frustrated because you're like, why am I the one doing all the help? Or did you feel both on different days?
I would say frustrated, just like the lack of control. Like I didn't know what it was going to look like, so I couldn't plan for it. Like I loved doing breakfast for the team. This year, I know what that looks like, right? Like we made breakfast sandwiches. I got systems for sandwiches. We can do breakfast for the team all the time.
System down.
What?
I said I got my sandwich system down.
Oh, see, yeah. I mean, I have that down. Like I know what to expect. I can plan. I can be better support. I can plan what I need. So I'd say that was the hardest part the first year, is like just not knowing what to expect. So I'm a system set up support things, and it's better once you know, once you can set that up. And I think the best thing that we can do, and you can do as a business owner if you're listening, is just, we always say like, you can't pour from an empty bucket. You've got to figure out ways to fill up your own bucket, and then just set up systems. Just like, I missed the talk to the employees, but just like we're talking about ways to make sure our team feels loved on and cared for and doesn't leave, you've got to do the same thing for your family. Mm-hmm. And it might mean hiring help at home during that season.
Yeah, some seasonal help. Hashtag grandma and grandpa. Where are you guys at?
There you go.
Michael, what, like I said, you get it from a coaching perspective. I'm sure Click Call Sell has some of these ups and downs. How do you feel like it impacts you at home and as a husband and as a dad?
Yeah, I'll stick with the business side first, because I've been pretty open about like how much therapy has like changed my life. So like how I communicate with my family and our team is really inspired a lot by life coaches, business coaches, therapy in general. But I think from a coaching perspective, because it's more applicable to like the day-to-day running the business, and I think that most people struggle with this as far as Christmas light season, or like the peak season for pest control, exterior cleaning, Christmas lights, whatever, is like, know what you're getting yourself into. If you are in your first year in Christmas lights and you're trying to do $150,000 in sales, and you're not mentally prepared for it, your team's not prepared for it, you haven't hired right or bought the inventory correctly, you're setting yourself up for reaction. So first, know what you're getting yourself into, and then surround yourself with people who understand where you are, who they've been where you are, they are where you are, so you can have some sort of like support group or support system, because it is long, it's hard, it's a lot of hours, and if you are just going in blind, you're going to fail, especially if you're trying to go big.
Yeah.
Second, super cliche, but begin with the end in mind, is like know the destination, know the date that you're going to stop. One of the biggest challenges I see, Christmas lights, since it was brought up, is they just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. You run out of inventory. We keep pushing, and we tell the team like one more day, and it just the inconsistency really bothers people, the technicians especially. So if you know that you're going to run out of equipment and we're done, then it's December 10th. That's it. Or when we run out, we're done. And that way everybody can kind of rally together and know what the goal is and all be on the same page. So begin with
does your wife, does your spouse know that too? And they're aware.
For me personally, yes. And I would love to talk about that. There's something called the YFU report or the print survey, which talks about your best self and your shadow self. I'm not sure if I mentioned this one, but knowing knowing who your shadow self is, like who you become when you're at your worst. And like if you come home, you had a bad day at work, right? So like technicians quit, somebody's late, customers mad, didn't pay, whatever. Like it just like it brings out the worst of you. And you feel more comfortable, safe around your family. And so they're usually the ones getting the brunt of it.
They're the ones that get the worst of you all the time.
Yeah. Yep. And so just the awareness of who you are in your shadow self, so you don't push those buttons, so you can be more aware in those moments is really important. Next, start with yourself. Like you have to know what you're getting yourself into. Then explain that to your family, explain that to your team, exactly what's going to be happening. I was at a meeting this morning. I would give it a 9.9 out of 10 meeting with our entire team to put together some funnels and some lead magnets for Click Call Sell, and just explaining exactly what's going to happen, who's in charge, what the timelines are. So everybody's on the same page. We know what the deadlines are and everything. So we're all kind of on the same page. And second is take pride in avoiding fires. Like be proud that one day we didn't have any issues. And that's where you should get your energy from, is not a day that you had to be valuable, but a day that everything worked the way it was supposed to work. So the systems, processes, SOPs, everything you created work the way you intended to. That's where you should get your pride from, not in I was valuable to my company today. If you can make yourself not valuable, that's when you're winning.
Yesterday, that was totally me. I was like getting a bunch of stuff done, and it was like stuff that wasn't even on my to-do list for yesterday necessarily, but it was like stuff that came up, and I was like, I'm problem solving. And then I had the realization, I was like, shit, like I'm just doing a bunch of stuff because I don't have the systems and processes to avoid these things coming up. And so I'm feeling like this immediate pride of accomplishing a thing. But to your point, Michael, that's just a sign that I don't have a system or process in place well enough to make that thing not happen.
Yes.
So I feel that one. But I'm still proud that I got done. So proud that I got it done. Next thing I'm going to be proud of is building a system or process so it doesn't happen again. But for now, I'm proud of that. I'm going to come back to like almost everything you just said, because we're going to do like here's some tips and some things, and especially with like parenting things and marriage things, like just different tips and tricks to protect those relationships. But Sean Day, we got to hear from you, man. What?
That was good stuff, Michael.
Thank you.
Every once in a while, Michael says something smart, so we just every time that guy talks, there's like, oh shit, I better start writing stuff down.
Yeah, no doubt.
What do you think, Sean?
Hard to follow these two, I'm telling you. I mean, being a recruiting guy, I can't let the opportunity go that it's all about your employees. If you solve your employee side of the business before you get into this busy season, you've basically are going to be 90% ahead of the game. If you don't do that, it's going to be an absolute nightmare. It just is. That's the fact of it. The other thing is to just piggyback on Angela and Michael, the process and systems, but also, I know we get intense, and I know business is like the most important thing in our life, but it's still just business. You do the best you can. You be as proactive as you can. You get your people in place, and just control the things you can control. Everything else is not in your control, so don't be fucking worrying about it, because it's not in your control. The weather's not in your control. Your customers' reactions aren't in your control. That stuff doesn't matter. If you take your energy and allow people to steal your peace and steal your energy, that's a problem. I think if you can focus on protecting your peace at all costs, and that's being proactive and doing the things that Angela and Michael said, that's just something that I work on all the time. I don't allow anybody to steal my peace to the best of my ability. As far as the family side of it, it's just a matter of expectations. It's going to be, this is a short couple months. That's a 12-month year. It's a short couple of months that it's just going to be hectic, man. And I'm going to be moody sometimes, and I'll apologize about it right up front. I really am sorry, but I'm going to apologize up front when Dad comes home, or honey, when I come home and I'm in a shitty mood. I'm going to do everything I can to make an amends to you if I do it. Okay. And that's the truth. It's just going to be hectic. But once we get by this year, and things go pretty good, I think we're going to have a really good Thanksgiving and a really good Christmas and a hell of a new year.
Nailed it. I think that's a song. I think there's probably a song that goes along that. Yeah, for sure. No, because if it was a country song, you'd lose everything, right? That's the whole
true.
joke. If you like, what happens if you play a country song backwards? Well, you get your dog back, you get your wife back, you get your truck back.
That's right.
I've got a whole bunch of things written down here. I want to tell some stories. You guys know me. I like telling some stories. Actually, no, you know what? Jai's here.
Lay it down.
Jai, what do you think, man? What you think?
Well, it's that work-life balance that we're talking about, right? So I'm kind of surprised that I get to talk. So
You're on here, so I
Nothing.
can't just skip over you. We gotta hear from Jai guy.
Well, it's just that finding that right balance for me. Yeah.
Yeah, you got like 4 jobs, man.
I'm empty.
Like, yeah,
I'm empty. I don't know what to say.
you can say whatever you want.
Balance.
I'll say enough stupid stuff for all of us.
Maybe the next question. Question. I got you.
So I want to like hit on some stories, because every time we like reflect on these things, there's those pivotal points in our life that just like memories we could never forget in business. And one that comes to mind, and you guys just chime in here, or I'll just keep telling stories. So interrupt me when you got a story. But one of the biggest like catalysts to me, like I was already kind of full-time in bookkeeping, but it was the thing that really like refocused me on spending my time on what I'm the best in the world at. I remember Sean and I were growing the recruiting business, and we're growing this bookkeeping business, and we're like back-to-back conventions. CBF Live was one of them. I remember we were down in Dallas doing CBF Live, and I was at, might have been ResponseCon the week before, or wherever it was. And we had just our general manager in our St. Louis home cleaning division was moving on. And so all of a sudden it was like, well, I got to fly down there and try to find a new GM, right? And talk to the employees and get everybody squared away. And this is their last week. And so like 3 travels in a row. And it was, that week was Reggie. So this must have been a little over like 2.5 years ago. It was Regina, my now 6, but it was her 4th birthday, and Dad was gone. I'm out of town. I got to go get a general manager in this location, right? And that feeling, and I don't know if it's like the Hollywood impact of bad dads, or like Scrooge, or like there's just dudes that are made to be bad dudes, right? Like the bad dad. It's in Elf, right? There's a bad dad in Elf, and then the dad redeems himself. Like it's this character that is shunned because they're an asshole, and they neglect their kids, and they neglect their spouse because they're too busy working. And all of a sudden I was like, oh shit. Like I'm working my butt off for my family, and yet it's Reggie's 4th birthday and Dad's gone, and they don't understand why I'm gone. Right? Like they just know that Dad's not there for their 4th birthday, and Mom made this awesome cake, right? And like there's just things that moms do that dads don't in general. Like moms are amazing. I don't know how they do it. I think they do it mostly out of guilt. I think that there's just a lot of mom guilt. Dads don't have it. I think some dads do, but dads just don't have that same level of like, oh my God, I got to make this cake so special, and I got to make this day so special. I'm just like, but I need to be here. I'm not going to make a cake. I mean, I'll make you a cake, but I'm not going to make like a fancy ass cake. Like if you want to eat some cake, let's go make a cake, yo. I don't care what it looks like. Are we eating cake, or we can go buy some cake? We can make, you like ice cream cake? Cause I know where the Dairy Queen's at. Like that's my logic. Right. But I was gone for my 4-year-old's birthday. And I'll be the first one to say, I do not care about going to a 4-year-old birthday party. there's 1,000 places I would rather be than a 4-year-old birthday party. But when it's my 4-year-old and I'm out of town and I can't be there because I'm working and traveling, it was like immediate, oh shit. Like the negative impact to the family is starting, right? And I'm sure it had happened well before that. And my wife just is amazing and puts up with it. And all of a sudden it was like this realization of like, oh damn it, I turned into that dad that's in all the movies, that's a piece of shit, that's always working and never there for his family. Like, I'm going over that crest. And it was shortly thereafter, Sean, if you recall, some maid service businesses started getting sold real quick.
Oh yeah.
Just like there's just no, that's not my life. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be flying around all over the country like trying to run these businesses. I want to be here on a radio show talking to you guys, having a whiskey is what I want to be doing. And then then we're hanging out with the kids tonight. We're actually going, we're going Christmas shopping for Marty. We tried to do this last night. Sorry, I'm going to tell another story. Tried to do this last night. I have another story. Marty shot a big ass buck this weekend. Like super cool buck. And we never found it. And it is 100% Rob Anderson's fault. Oh, he just oh, there he is. Now he's back. Rob Anderson. We got a squirrel.
The squirrel.
Yeah, squirrel. Anyway, Marty shot a big ass buck this weekend, and it was the coolest encounter. If we have time, I'll get to it. We might not have time, but it was like the best hunting date we've ever been on. It was just so intense, and she did great. Everything she did was awesome. She crushed it as an outdoors person and a hunter, and it was her first big buck, and she smoked it. But cheap ass Dan didn't buy her the nicest bow, right? She was just using my old bow that's 15 years old. And we threw some broadheads on it, and these should work, right? So the equipment was it's good equipment, but it's just not what we need for her to be able to properly kill a big buck. And so she put a good shot on it, but the arrow didn't penetrate enough. We tracked it. We hired a dog helped track it. We confirmed the deer is alive and well. It's running around doing deer stuff. But sucks for Marty.
You put an air tag on the dart on the bow.
I mean, the arrow comes out, right? And so it's like, you could probably put a little something on it so it sticks in it, but the deer's just gonna run away. It's alive. It's not like it's laying there dead. It's alive running around.
Plus, she doesn't hunt as much as you, so like she's limited at what she can take down.
Yeah, and and I had my bow with us. Like I had my bow, she had her bow. We had a 30-minute encounter with this buck, and it was like cat and mouse. And it was at 40 and 50 yards where I'm comfortable shooting it, but I'm like, no, like hopefully this thing comes in, and if she gets a shot, we're taking it. And if she doesn't, like, I'm just not shooting this thing. Like I really want her to get the experience. So she got the experience. It's ups and downs, right? That's hunting. It sucks. The deer's still alive. We can feel good about that. But anyway, it was like such a cool date. Last night we were supposed to go get her a new bow. Like immediately I was like, we just got to go get you a new badass bow that like shoots fast enough to go through a big ass buck. And then we were at Shields, and they have this little bowling game, and kids can't resist grabbing the ball while another ball's flying up, and Danny smashed her finger so bad like the skin tore off and like blood flying everywhere. Crosby's shitting his pants, because he's 2, and that's what 2-year-olds do. So he's crying and screaming and whatever. And we're like, I guess we're just done with this. We're done with this date. So we're going tonight to try again at getting Marty a new bow. But anyway, like that was the stuff where I realized like, oh shit, I'm flying down to St. Louis to try to deal with this maid service business that I'm not the best in the world at, and I'm a long ways away from. And I'd much rather be here talking to you guys or shooting a bow with my wife. And it was just this like hard reality for me, missing my kid's birthday. And I'm like, it just happened that it was a birthday, and it just tripped this thing in my head that was like, I'm fucking done with this. Like, we can't be having this. I can't be this movie character of a shitty dad that works too much. So that was like a big inflection. There's some other inflection points for me. I was probably too stupid to realize it, that I was overdoing it. So that's my first story. I'm going to shut up again, and stop telling stories. you guys, I'm not going to go in chronological order, but hit me if you got like an inflection story like that where you realize like, oh shit, I'm that person in the movie that's working too much.
That was pretty much me overall, just in my cleaning business when I had it. And I worked like 80 hours a week, 85 hours a week all the time. And it be what I look back at and regret is that I worked when I didn't have to sometimes, just because that thing where I didn't have the processes and shit figured out yet. So I have to work 85 hours a week to figure it. And then my brain starts going on, oh,
Yeah,
I
it's
can
just
do this too.
habitual. You don't know what else to do with yourself.
Right. And you're just going and going and going and going, and you're not even sure where the hell you're headed, but there's this conflict inside of me. I'm doing this for my family, but I'm away from my family, and my kids don't really give a shit what you're doing at the office. And I remember having them there, and I'd have a projector on the wall, and I'm like, hey, it's movie night at the office. Come on, we're going to get popcorn for the kids. And they're watching a movie, and I'm working. And I'm trying to watch this movie with them, and we're having some fun. I got a stopwatch out, and I'm timing them running down that hallway and stuff, just shit like that. But then
I know exactly the hallway you're talking about.
And I'm timing Carrie, running down the hallway and shit. And we're having fun, but I'm still like at the office working. I just couldn't let it go. But that's the best I had at that time. It was just the best I could do at that time. If I look back at it, I probably could have done things differently, but the effort to balance that was there, but the execution wasn't always real good,
Yeah.
I played Legos with my son one time, and of course, it's like, what do we build? So I'm building a new trailer right now. So let me go ahead and just try and find shapes that are like the size of the water tank and the hose reel and the thing. And it's like, geez, Rob, what can you build? Like, there was a time where like you had creative energy that wasn't just, how do I create my trailer out of Legos? No,
Yeah,
I
I'm
should
gonna
not
build
be
a
doing
pressure
this.
I got this sweet idea. I'm going to build a pressure washing trailer. And after that, I'm going to build a holiday light trailer. It's going to be sweet. You're never going to see anything like it. It'd be interesting. I'm sure like scientifically there's some data that shows where your creativity starts to just like fall off. Same thing. Like I feel like I used to be able to just come up with cool shit all the time. And I see it in my kids. They're coming up with crazy stuff all the time. I'm like, where'd you think of that? I don't know. I'm just thinking of stuff. And I just like my brain just doesn't have time to, or I don't dedicate any time to. That's it.
Yeah.
Ansel, you're pointing a finger at me.
You got to get the stuff off your plate. That's the most important thing as visionary entrepreneurs. We got to take stuff off of our plate so you have time for creativity and play. That's where our brilliant ideas come from.
What's a book that it's like, 10% of your time should be spent like dreaming? There's the designing, and then there's the doing, and that
there's the 5% of your time you spend freezing up.
It's even more than that, Rob. I believe if you are a visionary and you are like gifted with that, like Walt Disney, you should spend 30% plus time dreaming and creativity.
Well, and that's the point of their thing was basically, so if all five of us are in the business and Dan's the CEO, with our total hours combined, so you're at 200 hours, basically half of Dan's day is just dreaming. Most of Angela's day is designing, and the other three of us are just doing.
Along that line, I don't think you're wrong, Rob. Like, I'm here doing QuickBooks stuff, but it is the rut. And so I am dreaming a lot. I'm just daydreaming about big bucks. Is the difference.
You're just dreaming about different things.
Yeah, I'm daydreaming about big bucks. That's what's happening.
Yeah, like last week when somebody was like, I think I'll be in a tree. And I was like, this guy's up in a tree. An 80-foot lift and nothing alive is near me.
No. But if they were, you had had a great angle at them.
That tree had 215 strands, and they looked at it and they were like, well, why didn't you go all the way to the top? All right, fine. I'll charge you for another 87 strands, and we'll put this up there, and then it's going to be 300 strands, and it's going to be looking awesome. Angela, are you like running on a treadmill?
Her and Michael both.
Michael and I both are walking on a treadmill.
And Angela's winning. Angela's definitely winning.
We're racing.
I'm focused on being very still and only moving my hips.
I know I
Angela has
wasn't,
the
and
legs
then,
of a Clydesdale.
and then I stopped, and then I got distracted. Okay, I have
Thanks,
a back.
That's how I describe Angela every time. Nice gal, legs of a Clydesdale. That's usually how I describe Angela. I'm with you.
I have a back on track story. I don't know. Maybe my
That's
back
good.
in now that
I like
I'm
it. I like
talking.
where you're going with this. Good job.
So I kind of have and I've told this story on here before about family and whatever, and it's kind of opposite of you, Dan. Like it came full circle to me with my kids now that my kids are adults. Like I felt the whole time. I remember so many seasons of feeling just like you felt. Like I was the worst mom in the world. I was always working and I was always missing everything with them. And I carried that guilt. And I remember like several impactful moments of big trips that I felt like I was working and I missed things. But at Hildy's graduation, this is 4 years ago, now she's 18, we were putting up pictures for her graduation. And there was a picture of one of the biggest trips. And I remember feeling like a failure, like I missed them at Dallas Cowboy Stadium and I missed all these experiences. And Hildy said when we were putting up the pictures, she's like, Mom, you love being in pictures. She's like, this was one of my favorite trips. It was the best time. Why didn't you get in the picture with us? And she didn't remember that I wasn't there. So that's what I went to earlier. Like, as long as your kids feel taken care of and loved on and they're at Disneyland, they don't remember all the time that you're not there, as long as they felt taken care of. And it just like reminded me later, and like I'm more conscious of it now. It's not about the time that you're present. It's that you set up systems that they're taking care of, and that when you are there, you try and be in the best energy that you can, because they will remember if you yell at them or you're like, they will remember you creating a bad experience for them, I guess. So like when you get to be with them, try and show up in the best energy. But it just was shocking to me. I carried all this guilt that I wasn't there and they never knew.
It is. It's so funny. Like every day I pick my kids up and the things that we talk about are just not things I would think to talk about. And the things that I think we're going to talk about we just don't talk about. Like I'll ask them how their day was and they just don't even remember. Like it's irrelevant to them what happened during their day. Like what, anything good at school today? Meet anybody new? Any good friends? That was good. Like, well, give me some more. Like, I don't know. Well, what'd you eat for lunch today? I don't remember. It's like, what do you remember? Hey, remember in that one random ass memory where this happened and that happened? And it's like every memory is tied to an emotion. And if there wasn't a strong emotion, it doesn't like sink in yet. Whereas our memories are very much like, here's the things I need to do. Their memories are not there yet. So like, and they're in grade school, right? So it's like, there's not a whole lot of stuff they need to do. And so they don't create a memory around it. It's so weird. I mean, it's not weird because I get it, but all their memories are tied to like an emotional experience. And if they didn't have one at school, there's no memory of it. Even if it happened like 3 hours ago, they don't know what happened.
I think when they're young, you're right. I mean, they don't give a shit what happened 2 days ago, an hour ago. They don't care what happens in an hour from now. It's what am I doing now? What can I get now? What can I eat now? What can I play with now? What's now? And that's what they're focused on, man.
Dude, my son Seth, we're on the way to soccer. So we got soccer Mondays and Wednesdays. And he's like, Dad, can I have your phone? I just want to search stuff. And it's like, okay. What's the biggest gas station in the world? Which gas station has the most gas stations? And like all these random things. And it's like, so it's Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's is the biggest gas station with 120 whatever. And it's 75,000 square feet. It's like, he's like, that's like 12 miles, right? I was like, no. Hold on. Let's figure this out. Like, he's just wants to search the most random stuff. And it's just funny. It's like, yeah, go ahead, search that. You're totally giving the wrong prompts to Google to get what you're actually asking. What's the best gas station? Well, that doesn't really mean anything, but he's just searching it. It's like, all right, this is fun.
Yeah.
Like,
it's the best one. Well, it has to be the one that's the biggest.
Maybe. I mean, Buc-ee's is pretty stinking awesome.
I've never been in one.
It's a thing.
I want to be. I want to be in.
You'd love it.
I'd like to be in one right now. I'm just not. I'm up here doing this thing, but I want to be there someday. As far as anybody else got any like memorable stories? Because I want to. We got 15 minutes left. I want to give some like tips and tricks from marriage, from like parenting. I don't know what was I trying to say that I said management. That's not
a
even
story, but
Relationships.
yeah.
Management,
I
managing your
don't know,
marriage.
management. Yeah,
Yeah,
managing
that's
something.
that's a great word. Managing your marriage. Marriage
Yeah,
management.
management.
Yeah, they don't usually like it when you say you're managing the marriage.
Who's they? Are you
Yeah.
talking about who's they?
The other half.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't matter. The husband or wife. When you say, yeah, I'm managing the marriage.
Jai, I
Try
hear you
managing.
back there. Jai, where are you at?
Yeah.
You're back there.
I'm back here. I got a quote from something I watched titled How I Met Your Mother, I think. A quote there resonated to me, like, kids don't understand logic. They just understand who shows up.
Mhm.
That's what resonated with me. So
Yeah. That sounds exactly right. And I can't find a situation. I'm going through all the situations in my life with 3 kids, and I can't come up with one that doesn't agree with that. Yeah, it's like the logic's not there, but the memory of who was there, the emotion of it's
Plus, you guys should watch Inside Out.
Yeah,
to understand how core memories are formed. Yeah, it's a good
there.
one.
We just watched Inside Out 2. What you got there? What do you got,
I
T-Rex?
have the T-Rex costume. My 15-year-old's like, Dad, you still have that T-Rex costume? Yes, the one that I ate a person's artificial leg. We also have this one. This one's kind of weird.
That one
The
is
guy's
pretty
supposed to
weird.
be riding the back of the gorilla, but
Yeah,
it definitely looks like something else is happening.
does look like it looks like the bear in Super Troopers.
I saw one like that, Rob. Except it was an NFL player carrying the guy who's wearing it. Like, it was funny. I saw it on Facebook.
Nice. Y'all, I'm gonna drop off. Have a great day.
See you, Rob.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I had one other. It wasn't even like a negative, but it always just stuck with me. When Marty was pregnant with Danny, I think it was our first kiddo. Marty was pregnant with Danny, and it was when we were starting that maid service business in Minneapolis, Sean. And
Yep.
we had Jenna and Quintez that both got sick right before, and they were awesome, but they both got sick right before the holidays, and we had all these houses to clean. And so, like, my pregnant wife, who's like 4 months pregnant, and I think she was due in June, so yeah, that timing works out. Yeah, what's Danny's birthday again? Let me figure that out. But Marty's like pregnant, and I'm like, I don't have employees. I don't know what I'm gonna do. And my pregnant wife is taking vacation from her job at 3M that makes all the money in our house so that she can come and help me clean houses. That should have been a good sign to me, like, what am I doing here? But first, let me put my head down for 7 more years and see if I can figure this shit out. Hold on, I got 100 other employees around the country I need to like help out. But let's go scrub some toilets on. It was like Christmas Eve. I mean, this was not a day that, like, I don't think Marty had vacation. I think she was off because it was so close to Christmas. Like, she was just off. But that always stuck with me. It was fun. Like, it was fun being out working with her on our business, and we're doing this thing and blah blah blah. And I look back at it and I'm just like, man, what the shit she put up with for so long of me just grinding it out. And like, we'd get snow in Minneapolis, and I'd be up at 3 a.m. driving roads to make sure they were safe for our employees who I knew had shit tires. And it always drove me nuts. I just preached it all the time. Like, if there's one thing you're going to use this paycheck for, it's go get a new set of tires. You live in Minnesota, and it's the winter. And if you don't, you're going to be in a ditch. And that's bad for you and bad for me, because you're going to get in the ditch on your way to work or on the way to somebody's house. And then it's going to F up our schedule. And that's bad for you. And it's really bad for me. So selfishly, go get yourself a freaking pair of tires. And they never would. And then they'd be in the ditch, and so on and so forth. And my wife always lost. It was always Marty that was like the one that lost the most, because I would be up at 3 a.m. working, and I would be out till 7 p.m. driving home in a blizzard, right? Just because this is what we got to do. You guys got any final stories before we give tips and
I can share an experience on that. It's kind of similar to what you just shared with, you're the sacrifices that you made and how the brunt of your sacrifice was on your family. I've told every presentation speech I've ever given. If you've ever heard me speak, you've heard me tell this story. But I am of the belief, after coaching hundreds, probably thousands of people over the last 13 years, is that everybody that has the desire to or willingness to should be coaching somebody. Like if you are a technician, coach the assistant technicians. As soon as you're able to share experiences somebody else can benefit from, you should be. And so for me as an entrepreneur, because I did start, the first business that actually made money. So my profitable entrepreneurship journey started later in life, is I got to learn and analyze from so many businesses before I actually did it myself. So I actually prided myself on calling myself an analyst. And when I first started my business, I had heard your story, Dan, 30 times, right? As the entrepreneur for the first 4, 5, 6, 7 years, just grinding. And in the background was a family. And I'll tell you what's crazy is why everybody should start coaching is because from my experience, I have current conkers right now, who are grown men, millionaires that have shed tears on the call because of your story, because they spent 5, 10 years neglecting their family, neglecting their kids and their marriage and their wife. They're on a second marriage, second set of kids. And so when I started my business, I had the awareness of, okay, if I'm going to avoid one mistake, it's going to be that one, because I'm doing this for my family. I'm doing this for my marriage. And so I think just having the awareness of where you are in business and what the needs and why you're doing it in the first place is something you should never lose sight of, because it's really, really easy per your story to lose sight of why you're putting yourself under all the stress anyway.
I think I agree with you, and yet it's still such a slippery slope. Like all the things you said were in my head, and yet I still was the dude that missed his 4-year-old's birthday because I was like, shit, here I am. I got to go do this thing. And so I didn't, maybe I just didn't have the tools or the wherewithal to know what to do to avoid getting myself in that situation. And I think it is a little bit of a double-edged sword in that I do want my kids to see me working hard. I want them to know how to work hard and to value hard work and think that it's important and fun and engaging. And so I don't want them to think that we're not working. I want them to see it and be a part of it and think it's cool. But then I want to go hunting with them and do that.
Yeah.
Sort of. That's
you
another
can
story.
disagree with me if you want to.
No, I totally agree with you. I just don't. It's it's easy to say. It's harder to do because I was thinking the same thing, and all of a sudden I was just like, oh shit.
Well, that's why you should be coaching, because you can get that experience and that pain, right? I mean, people that on the side, as their hobby, they fight, right? And they are total badasses. And they're here on a call with a coach and they're crying. That says a lot, right? And so that you just, as a person that's mentoring anybody, that you see that pain, now you have awareness that, I'm doing the same thing to myself, or I'm using these same behaviors. I'm not saying that I scaled my business and it was easy and I had no troubles or heartache, because trust me, I did. But I definitely avoided some of the pitfalls and mistakes because of my experience coaching before I launched.
Yeah, hell yeah. So let's give some tips, some marriage tips, some parenting tips on as you guys are going through this fall grind. And you're going to go through it to some extent, right? We can't avoid our busy seasons. Our busy seasons are going to happen. And we get better and better and better at how we deal with it. But I wrote a bunch of stuff down as you guys were talking that I want to quick bullet point, and you guys can chime in as well. The biggest thing that I heard that it always kind of comes back to is setting the expectations. Set reasonable expectations for yourself, set expectations with your spouse, set expectations with your kids, set expectations with your team. You're going to be busier, but Michael, I think you laid it out perfectly, which is set an expectation of when you're going to stop. It's okay to stop, and that could be by day, hey, 5 p.m. I'm done. I put my phone down. Maybe I'll pick it back up at 8 p.m. or something like that. Sean had to jump to a meeting. Maybe I'll pick it up tonight once I get the kids in bed or whatever, but some sort of look at Jai changing the background to fit how many people we have on the screen. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but man, that dude can produce a show. He's back there just doing dials and moving things around. But I think so much of his setting expectations and not just saying like, not, I don't mean that to say, hey, spouse, I'm never going to see you for the next 2 months. Good luck. Like that would be a shitty expectation to set. Now, I do think if that's the case, you should probably set that expectation. But also set reasonable expectations for yourself and know when to like draw your line and make sure that you are being a good spouse and a good parent and everything else you got going on. Angela said, get some help. I like getting some help. We were trying to get Darlene to help us tonight with a little bit of watching the kiddos so Marty and I could go get her bow without worrying about slamming a finger between two bowling balls. But I think the kids are coming with. Darlene wasn't available. And it's, I like having the kids with, even though it's total chaos. It's like my favorite type of, it's like, I love taking my kids grocery shopping. I just think it's hilarious. Some parents like avoid it. And I'm like, no, let's annoy everybody. This is going to be hilarious. I tried to like harness and just enjoy that part of the journey. Cause it's so for such a limited period of time.
Yep.
Like, give me that chaos. Give me that stress. I'll be the dad yelling across the grocery store. I'm cool with that. Michael, you said shadow self, and like who you are when you're at your worst. I don't remember if you had talked about that before, but I relate it to, I've heard this around like racism is the only example that I can like assimilate with it. I don't know if it's a good example or not, but like nobody's racist until they're stressed out, right? Like that's when racism comes out, is when people are like nervous about something or stressed about something. When they're not usually racist, but your biases and your prejudices come out when situations go sideways. And that's like, as Sean would say if he was here, that's your like true character, is when the chips are down, when things suck, when you're beat to shit, then what are you? Like, then how do you behave? That's who you really are. That's your true character. And that sounds to me like what you were describing with shadow self is like when you're at your worst and your chips are down, that's who people know you as. That's like the reflection you have on people. Anybody's a good person when life is easy.
Well, that's who you are. Like Michael said, that's who you are to your family, at least. Not everyone sees you as that.
In your shadow, right? So you know how to push your spouse's buttons, right? So like you know how to like just get under their skin, saying something, maybe something from the past, and it's the awareness of that behavior that you want to try to avoid. So it's really cool. It's called the Print PRINT report or Print survey or WHYOU WHYOU report. It's quite expensive. It's like $150. I had to get it through a link of one of my friends, but I had my wife take it, and it's something that we went through together. It is pretty eye-opening. It's got your anticipated best self, and it scores you from like, when I say a score, but it basically tells you who you are. And mine was like 85% correct. And it's kind of eerie and creepy. It takes a long time, like 45 minutes to fill this thing out. It's like DISC or anything else, but a little bit more intense. But
I think JC should take it immediately because he's got some screws.
JC scared the shit out of me. I thought it was someone else. I was like, whoa, who's that guy?
Is that real?
Let's keep talking. I don't interrupt. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. Okay.
No, it's okay. I
get the squirrel. Right, get the squirrel.
Squirrel. So if anybody wants, it's on this call. I can see if I can get you guys a link to taking it. But so it gives you your major and minor behaviors, like who you are. So my unconscious motivators are to be safe and secure, the integrator needing a visionary to lead the way, and to succeed and achieve, so that I can succeed and achieve. So I have a high desire to be successful, and I want to feel safe on the way of doing that. So it goes through and it talks about your just general behaviors, what your motivators are, what your detractors are, and then it talks your anticipated best self. So if you want, Dan, you know me really well, Angela and JC know me really well. I'll send this to you and you can kind of read through it. But your shadow self is the people closest to you. These are the people like you don't ever behave like this around like second or third layer friends. These are siblings, parents, spouse, kids, best friends, you guys that may have seen my shadow self a couple of times. It's that you want to be aware of, because you're always on your best behavior on a radio show. except when I call Angela.
I don't know that I
Clydesdale.
am. I don't know that I am. I think I'm questionable.
JC, don't beat me up, but I did say Angela has Clydesdale legs. So,
Yeah,
because you're saying how short my legs were.
yeah. Instead of being JC's girlfriend once they're married, now she's going to be old Clydesdale legs Angela.
Old Clydesdale legs.
Legs.
No, she's in my phone now as JC's ex-girlfriend. So
That's right. That's right.
Upgraded.
Yeah, I gotta check that out. One thing, Marty does this so well, and I'm trying to get better at it. And I actually got this coaching. I did back in the corporate world. We did like 360 feedback, and so like everybody gave anonymous feedback in this program. And one of the things I would always run into is I'm not like a super emotional guy, but I run hot and fast. Like I'm living in my moment and I'm doing my thing. And if there's an emotion that I'm feeling, it's just part of the thing that I'm bringing. And I come at things fast. Like I don't waste time. I'm just doing shit. And so one of the coachings that I got, and like I said, Marty's really good at this, is rather than expressing emotions, talking about emotions. Like you don't need to express anger or frustration. You can say, I'm just really frustrated because of this. You don't need to behave frustrated. You can talk about it and it accomplishes the same thing, but it's way better for other people to intake. Like nobody wants to experience your frustration. Like experiencing somebody else's emotions, their negative emotions, is hard. Like then it sets off a negative emotion in us and we react with our own negative emotion. Whereas if you talk about it and can like rationalize it, it really helps you deal with it and really helps the other person deal with you. And so it's a thing Marty and I try to do. We kind of like laugh about it now because it's like, especially on a Sunday when you're just like in a Sunday funk, it's just like, I don't know why I'm in the mood that I'm in, but I am just in this like Sunday funk. And I just need you to know that in case I'm a total bitch, like I don't know why I'm feeling this way. I'm just feeling this way. And rather than me just behaving this way, I want you to know that I'm being this way and it's nothing to do with anything. It's just whatever mood that I'm in because it's a Sunday and it's just the way Sundays go sometimes. Maybe the Packers lost. Could have been because the Packers lost. Something important like that. I don't know.
That's very healthy behavior, Dan.
It's hard to do,
Or
though.
Marty.
It's hard to do. Marty's good at it.
It is, but once
like,
you get to the certain point of vulnerability, it gets easier though. Like you have to be vulnerable with your spouse and explaining how you feel. Lots of therapy. So once you get to that point, your spouse loves you unconditionally. So you can go like say things that you could never say to anybody else, but you can tell your spouse like how you're feeling, and if they love you unconditionally,
like, hey, that outfit makes you look fat.
Yeah,
something like that.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't go that far.
The words we use, like the order of words, that's something I've always struggled with, is getting the words in the right order. But when you can have be vulnerable enough or comfortable enough to talk to your spouse about how you're feeling and they can receive that and help and support you, that's when you're in a really good place. So practice it. And they'll look at you like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Mine tends to
come
come in the form
is
of
not
an
about
apology.
your feelings, though. Just to
What's
be
that?
clear.
What's
you
that?
look fat in that is not about your feelings.
I was just being funny. Just being funny. I was saying mine, whenever I do not a good job of that, but whenever I do a job of that, whenever I remember to like talk about emotions versus express them, it's usually as an apology because I've already expressed them. And I'm like, oh shit, I screwed that up. Are you high-fiving? JC's high-fiving.
You're leaving?
She left me alone.
He's gonna go slay another animal and make a hat.
Yeah, is that real fur? Is that real fur? Is that a real fur hat? No.
No, someone gave it to me when we went to Omaha. They gave it to me. They said it looked good on me and they gifted it to me, and he adopted it and wears it everywhere.
It just looks so goofy. It's perfect.
I got scared. I thought it was something else.
We'll send you the link, though. It's this incredible company that the person that gave it to me is friends with the owner. They were on Shark Tank. There's tons of animals. You should get one. There's pockets, so it's like a hood and gloves.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Nice. I dig it. Do they have a white-tailed deer one? I might need a white-tailed deer one.
They have all animals.
I want one. Dates. Marty and I are going on a date tonight, but I had a date written down. Ben, our buddy Ben Smith, I don't know if he's still doing it, but at one point they would do rotating dates with their kids. He would take Charlie and Emily would take Lucy, and they would do a date with their kids. And then the next month they would switch. And then Ben would do a date with Lucy and Emily would do a date with Charlie. So they did like one-on-one dates with kids, which I thought was kind of cool. And then like the kid gets to kind of pick what they're doing.
Nice.
And obviously dates with each other. Marty and I's dates this time of year just tend to happen up in a tree. And that's cool. The last thing I had written down was like knowing your love language and like making sure that your spouse knows it and knows the thing that like fuels you. And if you need hugs, ask for some hugs. If you need affirmation, Marty's really funny about this because I suck at giving affirmations when I know people want affirmations. I'm like, well, if you want it now it's not my idea, so I can't give it to you if it's not my idea. But she'll be like, I just need affirmations. Like I need somebody to tell me I'm doing a good job. And so I have to, then I'm like, now I'm conscious, like, how's our laundry situation? How's the dish situation? How are the things that Marty's usually doing? Let's make sure I'm like complimenting the shit out of that. Or like she meal preps a lot. And I'm like, shit, I got to like make sure I'm like recognizing her for these things because she crushes it, but she just does it. And it's like, there's a Facebook video that I saw a while ago. And it's the guy is talking to his fiance or whatever. And he's like, honey, you're not going to believe this. Like this coffee table here is magical. She's like, what are you talking about? He's like, every night, it doesn't matter what kind of mess I leave on this thing. I've even added extra shit to it. I've like piled up pizza boxes and empty beer cans and whatever else. The next morning, it's gone. It's magic. And she's like, you got to be kidding me. And he's like, no. And even like, you think that's crazy? This laundry basket right here, I can have this thing as full as anything, right? And he just goes through. He's like, and this dishwasher, like the whole sink could be full of dishes. And the next day, they're gone. It's all magical. And so then she leaves, right? And just leaves them. And then they have, I don't remember, there was a inspector that came over for something and they're like investigating. Oh, he filed a missing persons report because she just disappeared. And he's like, I think she might have sat on the coffee table because everything that touches that disappears like every night. And then there's a lady that's in this like detective duo. And then there's a dude that's in the detective duo. And the lady's like, you gotta be kidding me, right? Like the lady knows. And the detective's like, he's not kidding. I got the same table. And that's the end of the skit. It's so freaking funny. But we have that in our house. Like Marty is known as the laundry fairy. Like laundry just be getting done around here. Nobody knows where it comes from. Nobody knows how it gets into their drawers. It just happens. So like knowing people's love languages and again, like if you need that reinforcement or you know that your spouse needs that reinforcement, whatever that love language is, if you're into that sort of thing, just being very back to what we were just talking about, Michael, is like being conscious of that and making sure that you're given the good energies to get you through your busy season.
Nice.
I think that's a wrap. What do you guys got? Any closing? Angela, good to have you back. Michael, thanks for hanging out. What did I blow your eardrums out with that one? Or are you just listening to your kids screaming? There you go.
Somebody opened my front door. So
now the dog's barking. Somebody's got a dog barking.
I like the headphones because it gives me like full immersion.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Except for when you're like, what's going on out in the real world out here?
Yeah.
Whenever I'm doing a late night show and Marty's not here and I like put the kids to bed, I'm just so worried that anything could be going on out there. Like they could be all up having a friggin' party without me and burning the house down, and I wouldn't have any idea until the smoke started coming in here. Anyway, thanks for hanging out, you guys.
Aaron, see somebody that came into my house that freaked me out. All right,
yeah,
see
totally.
you guys.
You called it. You knew it. See you, Michael.
See you, Michael.
Angela, good to have you back. We're off next week. I'm chasing big bucks in Illinois. We will be. I think I got to check with my guest. I got Angela. I think you're using this. Let me make sure he's still available. I think he's still available. Here we go. We got Kendall Hines is on tonight from Clicky. Join Clicky. Yeah, you sent me a Clicky thing.
JC started first, and then
yeah. If you guys want a little teaser about Kendall, on my last show, Bookkeeping Beer and BS, I had Kendall on like 4 years ago. He had a different software at that time. His was by far the highest watched episode I ever had, and we had to take it down. Embarrassingly, because my co-host at the time flashed up like a pornographic website as a joke. It's like disgusting joke. But he didn't show it on the screen, but he like put the URL in there and got Kendall to click on it. And then a bunch of other people that watched the show were like, what's this link? And it's disgusting. So I won't say anything about it besides like that. If I told you the dude's name, you would know who it is. And you'd be like, oh yeah. Like it wasn't Ben Smith, but it's just like a person just like Ben Smith who it would just be a hilarious thing, right? Like, oh, let me see if I'll get him to type this link in and go to this thing. And so we had to pull down the most popular episode we had ever ddone.
It's
And
the
he's
one
back
who
tonight.
used to own, the one who used to own the group.
Oh yeah. So anyway, Kendall's back. It'll be our newest, most popular episode, so you should probably check it out. He's got a new software. Angela's using it, so it must be pretty damn good. We're gonna hear more about it tonight and just be catching up with Kendall. So check that out. We're off next week, although I probably will record a podcast from there. I don't know when or where, but we've got a whole bunch of business owners hanging out doing bow hunting stuff, so we'll probably record at some point. I just don't know if it'll be at this time. We'll keep y'all posted. In the meantime, you guys know what to do. Where's my camera? I don't even know where my camera is anymore because I'm using a different camera. Work smarter and harder. Go earn yourself some pride. We'll see you tonight. Beep, 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 beep.